Neo is plugged into the matrix on the back of his neck. And if we look at the human brain, the back of the neck is the reptilian brain stem. And when one operates their life out of the reptilian brain stem, they are unaware, unconscious. They are consciously dead because the reptilian brain does not really critically think. It acts on instinct, fight or flight mode. This is considered in the occult spiritually dead. When one is taking actions without intention, simply very reactive to life. They're not living, they're simply experiencing. When you're walking down the street and you see someone, and in your mind you think me versus them versus me, that is an animalistic way of thinking. I used to be trapped in this way of thinking, always thinking of fight or flight, always judging people, always reacting to the world, never consciously creating and commanding with intention in the world. This could be considered the matrix when one lives unconsciously, simply surviving in the world. Another symptom of living in the reptilian brain could be obsession, a constant need to assert your power over others to feel safe or superior. Views relationships as power hierarchies, not as mutual connections. It could be a conquest for sex, lust, seeking validation through sexual activity. Sex becomes a tool for dominance, escape, and self-worth. Intimacy is avoided. Pleasure is pursued without emotional depth. Seeking pleasure all the time. This is all to do with the reptilian brain. Seeking safety. It could be compulsive eating or food hoarding, driven by craving and not actual hunger. Eats to soothe fear or emotional discomfort, often unconsciously. This is the unconscious. Fear-based decision-making. Every choice is shaped by perceived threat or insecurity or fear within the subconscious mind. Long-term vision is sacrificed for immediate safety and gratification. All the reptilian brain. Territorial behavior overacts when personal space, possessions, or status is threatened. Acts as though survival depends on ownership or status. Addiction repeats patterns to feel safe, even if they are harmful. Avoids anything unfamiliar or unpredictable. Low empathy. No empathy or emotional care for one another and for fellow beings in the world. Sees people as threats, tools, or competitors. This is all to do with the reptilian brain. Intense jealousy or possessiveness. Sees others as rivals or objects to control. Cannot tolerate perceived threats to loyalty or status. Quick to be angry. Slow to reflect. Reacts with rage, withdrawal when challenged. Lacks emotional regulation or deep self-awareness. So this is considered, this brain could be considered the matrix, hence why Neo is plugged into this brain. He's operating the life out of this brain, unconscious, simply navigating life like an animal. I was in this state, and you can only really realize this when you come out of this brain and you start to function from the higher regions of the brain, which we will discuss very soon. And my life was chaos because there was chaos operating internally. I was never thinking about the future. I was always operating life out of fear, out of lack, never had care for another person. When you operate life out of this brain, the matrix, things outside you can easily control you. This is why they keep us in a constant state of fear. So we operate life out of this. So we never gain full control over our reality, over our actions, over our thoughts. So Neo is called Neo, and he works at a place called meta-cortex, very symbolic of the neocortex, the higher region of the brain. Now, this brain makes you human. It ultimately allows you to hold control over the animal urges, okay? The neocortex is the brain that allows you to have self-mastery, that allows you to control your urges, your instinctual survival urges. So humans can overcome their reptilian animalistic state and start to operate their life in a conscious mastery state. And Neo is plugged out of the reptilian brain and he starts to use his neocortex, the human brain. This allows one to learn to have self-control allows one to create, allows one to think about others. It allows one to critically think deeply. It allows one to be self-aware. Who am I? Where did I come from? And where am I going? This is ultimately the brain that has shaped the world. We look at humans. We built technology. We built all of these amazing things. They all come from the neocortex. This is the higher region of the brain that allows consciousness to function on a higher degree. It allows you to truly become a creator and have self-control instead of living in a reactive animal state. You see, animals are only aware of their five senses. They're only aware of surviving. If you notice, look at animals, they're always looking around. Even in their home, they're always looking around, sniffing around. That's because they operate in an animalistic brain. Humans have the neocortex. This is a higher region of the brain, which if you wish to master yourself, this is the brain that you will be using. This allows you to operate life on a higher degree. We see this reptilian brain symbolized everywhere. See it as reptiles. Reptiles are symbols of this brain. We see the Egyptian god Osiris with the green skin representing a reptile, a crocodile. Sometimes we see Osiris depicted in Egyptian artwork with crocodiles or reptiles, if you do a little bit of research on that. And also, if we look at the overall symbolism of Osiris and his story, we notice that he is the god of the dead or the underworld. This is not literal, but the dead or the god of the death, the god of the death of self, the dead of consciousness, because you are a divine being with limitless potential to create. And ultimately, to create, we have to master our reptilian brain. But when we function from this reptilian brain, we are dead to our higher powers of creation, of imagination, of actually gaining control and operating life from the higher mind, operating life as the divine being as you are. But if you operate life in Osiris, he is the god of dead. You are spiritually and consciously dead. You act unconsciously. You are dead, not physically, but mentally and spiritually. So what we're looking at here in the Egyptian artwork is the reptilian brainstem. We have the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of the brain. Notice a curve. The feminine body is very curvy. This represents feminine. The masculine body is very liney. So if we study geometry, we know that lines are masculine, hence why the word masculine, line, and the feminine body is, in geometry, feminine is represented as curves. So this is the left masculine brain on the left side, and this is the right feminine brain on the right side, with Osiris, the reptilian brainstem, in the middle. So we're going to go deeper into some Mesopotamian artwork now. Now let's have a look at this. We're looking at the reptile on the very bottom. We see the left brain and the right brain, the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus on the left and right. In Freemasonry, we still see the symbolism of the two pillars. Yakin and Boaz in Freemasonry, with the two pillars symbolizing masculine, feminine forces of consciousness, also representing the masculine left brain and the feminine right brain, with the reptile down here. But if we have a little look here, right, we have a little look at these reptiles. This person is standing on top of the reptiles. When you are on top of something, you have power over the below. You are standing atop of something. You have mastery over it. You have control over it, symbolizing gaining control over the reptilian brain, the reactive actions, the sexual urges, the addictions, the territorial behavior, the fear-based decisions, constant internal tension, never being able to focus. It's symbolizing gaining control over these internal qualities that happen within us, in our mind, because the universe is mental. And if we do not gain control over this brain, it will dominate our mind, which will ultimately dominate our actions and destroy our life and live in an unconscious state. So this is basically instructions in this ancient Mesopotamian artwork of becoming self-mastery, to operate on a God consciousness level. So we have a person symbolizing your awareness, the internal you, having mastery over the reptilian urges, the reptilian brain, the reptile thinking. We have a person, a face in between, and it's standing in between these pillars, symbolizing balance of the brain hemispheres. Because the face, we see the eyes in the middle, we see the person is you, your consciousness, standing in the middle pillar. So representing seeing reality as neutral. Everything in the world is neutral. It's the mind's perception that gives it a positive or negative charge. When we adapt this mindset, this view of reality, this knowingness of reality, we see the world for what it truly is. And if you see things as neutral, it allows one to transform the situations in your life accordingly instead of simply choosing a side. This is a major problem in society, and this was a problem within myself also. We like to choose sides, and choosing sides can keep your consciousness locked in a certain mindset, in a certain belief. And belief is what is ultimately destroying humanity. It's about knowingness, and knowingness is in the middle. We want to seek to know things. Knowing things allows you to go out there, directly experience it, and know it for yourself. For example, I know I'm not on a spinning global ball flying through space. Why? Because my senses tell me I'm not doing that. My senses tell me I'm not going 1,000 miles per hour and 360,000 miles per hour through space while spinning around the sun. I know that because I know myself. I know I'm not my body because I've had direct mystical experiences beyond the physical body. So we should seek to know things, and that's what we call gnosis. Direct knowledge obtained through direct experience, knowingness. And that is a middle pillar quality. So in Freemasonry, we see the middle pillar. The matrix is designed to give you two wings all the time. Democrats, Republicans, feminism, and then there's another side. There's always two sides that they're giving you because they want you locked in either way, which is seek the middle pillar, seeing things as neutral, seeing things as the middle pillar, seeking direct experience, gnosis. And this aligns with the brain because the brain gives us these two perceptions also. The right brain sees the woods, the whole woods, but the left brain sees the individual trees and branches and leaves. If we're too left hemisphered, we're going to see everything as divided. If you're too left hemisphered, you're only going to see yourself. You're only going to think about me, myself, my ego, my consciousness, my life. And I'm only going to operate in the world, take actions only towards me without considering the collective, which is the right hemisphere quality. The right hemisphere allows you to see the bigger picture, how we're all connected. We're all one family of consciousness. We're all one being separated in different bodies, one consciousness operating in different bodies. So it's about aligning these perceptions of the brain and standing in the middle, and also conquering the reptilian brain. This allows us to operate in the world and see the world for what it truly is and operate from a place of balance. We also see some more symbolism in Egypt of the Ram Sphinx in Egypt. Ram Sphinx. Please leave a comment and please leave a like and a subscribe onto the YouTube if you like my content. Smash that like button and we'll get straight to this. So this is the Ram Sphinx in Egypt, also symbolizing the brain. This is my research. These are my conclusions. You can take this with a pinch of salt and go out and do your own research. This is what makes sense to me based off my information I've gained, my symbolism that I can read. So take what you can from it. I'm not here to obstruct anything. I'm not here to place anything in your mind. I'm simply here expressing my research. Never take anything off anyone as solid truth. I've never have said everything I say is solid truth. This is my research. If the research aligns with you, that's great. Maybe it doesn't with some people, that's fine. Simply take things with a pinch of salt, go out and collect as much research and information from many different sources and place together your own understanding of symbolism and your own perspective on reality. But like I say, seek to know and not believe. So this is the Ram Sphinx in Egypt. This is a more powerful symbolism of the brain. We have Osiris here, the god of the dead, which is the reptilian brain, and an Aries symbol here symbolizing the hippocampus in the brain. So this is the reptilian brain stem, heavily aligned with the reptilian brain stem here. We can see the connections if we look closely. So this represents the dead of consciousness. This is the dead of self, living in impulsive animalistic state, the symptoms that I listed earlier. I'm not going to go over the symptoms again. And Aries symbolizes the hippocampus in the middle of the brain. It's the hippocampus. And Aries is a symbol of a state of being. Why? You see, ancients and the ancient Egyptians, according to my research, Freemasons still use this symbolism today. So what they do is they use use the path of the sun to symbolize a state of consciousness or a journey in consciousness. So what do I mean? So Aries here is the transition from the winter arc. So this is the winter arc from Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. This is when the sun is dead. This is when the electromagnetic waves of the sun are not very present. This is the winter. This is when there's more darkness in the world. However, from Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and to Libra, this is when the sun is giving more electromagnetic rays. Everything grows. Everything is reborn again. Everything's growing. There's more light. There's more warmth. You can grow crops. So this is very symbolic as a state of consciousness. Aries is used heavily to represent the rebirth of the sun, but internally as an esoteric interpretation of Aries, it symbolizes the resurrection of awakening of the self. It is the rebirth of the sun, of the soul, the rebirth of becoming aware out of the darkness into the light, living in the reptilian unconscious state, the unconscious, not being aware that I possess consciousness, not being aware of my thought, emotion, actions. And Aries is that symbol, is of the rebirth of the spirit, the rebirth of the self, becoming self-aware. So that's what we're looking at here with the Ram Sphinx. We're looking at Osiris, dead, the reptilian brain, operating life in an unconscious state, not really thinking, not self-aware of thought, emotion, actions, not aware of the soul, not aware of good and evil, not aware of the laws that are in the heart of love, not aware that there's always an intelligence in the heart telling us what's the right thing to do at all times, not aware of anything, just simply reacting to the world. But then we have a symbol of Aries above, which is the resurrection of self. So again, this is symbolizing by the Egyptians, to me and my research, going from darkness to light. This is the resurrection of consciousness when we start to deepen our self-awareness, which is ultimately what I'm doing to you in these videos. Hopefully I can awaken some people's minds and make people think deeper. And that process of internally what's happening within you, that's what Aries represents when you're starting to say, wow, my mind's going deeper and deeper into the self, and I'm realizing more. That is what Aries symbolizes. When the sun returns, it's also a symbol of a sacrifice, because obviously when the sun returns back to Aries, we're sacrificing the winter, when we're transitioning, and all transitions require sacrifice. So in Aries, the Jews celebrate the Passover. It's the Passover of the sun, and what do? They eat lambs in the Passover Aries, because it's all symbolic of this internal process. In Aries, Christians celebrate with the Easter, which is the resurrection of Jesus, the resurrection of the sun. Remember, it goes deeper. There's deeper layers to this. It's the resurrection of the self and the mind deepening into a deeper awakening. So again, we're going from the lower regions of the brain, and when we start to critically think and become self-aware, we're starting to use the mid part of the brain, and the mid part of the brain then expands into the neocortex, which is the resurrection of the self. The mind is no longer functioning in just the reptilian brain, but then it's going into the light of the higher brain, the neocortex, and this is the reptilian brain. This is the midbrain, what we're looking at here with the Ram Sphinx. Yeah. So this is the resurrection. It's the transition point of going from the reptilian brain into the midbrain, into the neocortex. We're now resurrecting ourselves. Now, this is not putting anything negative on the reptilian brain. Without the reptilian brain, we wouldn't be able to live. We need the reptilian brain, but it's an abuse of the reptilian brain that can keep us in a very low state. It keeps us stuck in an unconscious state. But the reptilian brain is what's allowing you to breathe, to eat, to scan the environment for any threats. If there are threats, we do need the reptilian brain. That's not to say it's evil, but what I'm saying is an abuse of this brain, which is what most people are stuck in. They're operating their life out of this brain. And this is what the Egyptians, I think, are symbolizing, trying to tell us, to resurrect ourselves, to become self-mastered, to become the highest version of yourself, to actively create in the world. Because when we are only operating from this brain, we're unconscious, well, then other people can use you as a vessel to create their reality. This is how the world is at the moment. The ones who know how to use the mind are controlling the other ones who do not know how to control the mind. So I hope this makes sense to you. Let me know if you have any video recommendations, and I'll see you inside Ethereum University. If you wish to take your research to the next level, I have things inside of there that are very powerful. We happily invite you. I'll see you inside of Join. If not, I'll see you in the next YouTube video.